Everybody, welcome tonight, this Wednesday night. How is everybody doing? I am doing okay.
Hi. How are we?
How is everybody doing tonight? I am Ryan, the producer-director of Tales of Valhalla, the Aftermath Chronicles. And I think last week, I showed how I was just getting the audio ready for episode 5. And you can see right here that I got a rough portion of the voiceover audio was ready. And so now I am starting to lay down some video tracks, so we'll do that a little bit. We're going to do a little bit. I'm going to talk about something too while I do it, so I don't know how much work I'm actually going to get done while I talk, because I can't talk and do work at the same time. We're going to start working on this, but before we do, I'm actually going to talk about, and I might do this week and next week, I'm going to talk about a question a fan of the show left me on one of our videos. And here, I'm going to bring it up. And so this is the episode 4 season 3 premiere video, and there's myself and Mr. Joey Ranieri, who voices Lieutenant Dan, as well as a couple other characters in the show. And we did commentary on episode 4. Really fun live stream that was. And so we had someone leave behind a question. Okay. And yeah, it's this one. Okay. So what it says here, you can see that, it comes from a Mr. James, and I'm sorry if I butcher your name, or your last name, James Trotta, I believe that's how you call it, and he asks, what have you learned while making ToV? Also, that's a cool hoodie. Thank you. I'm wearing the hoodie right here. I'm usually wearing the hoodie for live streams. And yes, and lots of choices for hoodies on our ToV store as well, which is, if you want to go to our merch store and help us with establishing a budget for future seasons, you go to www.cptov.store and you can buy some cool ToV merch there. But he asked me, what have I learned while making ToV? And I just want to make one important thing that I'm excited about. I think this is the first time that it's happened. But this is the first time someone outside myself and the cast and crew of this show has named Tales of Valhalla in its acronym, which is ToV. That's what we call it. That just thrills me more than anything. I'm just so happy with that. I leave a reply saying so. But what have I learned? Well, I'm gonna just talk a little bit of that while I work. I mean, basically what I've learned is everything. Let's just put it that way. But here, let's just start by editing some of this, because I know I don't have a lot of time. I'll say one thing about what I have learned. The whole process of making the series, making seasons 1, 2, and 3, it's taken several years. It's taken several years to do, and I'm still working on completing season 3. Here, still completing season 3, and during these several years, professionally, when I got started and I wrote the script for season 1, especially writing the script for seasons 2 and 3, because I did that. I wrote the script for seasons 2 and 3 before I did any animating. I kind of had some ideas. I kind of had a general idea where the story was going to go. And professionally, when I wrote the script, I had no idea, literally almost hardly any idea, how I was going to do a lot of the effects and stop motion work required for it. I had no clue. I had to figure it out as I was going, and I got better as time went on. It's one of these things to where this has been a learning process for everything. The stop motion and when I started Tales of Valhalla, I didn't know how to do virtually 99.9% of all of it. It was literally my film school, just learning as much as I could. And so, I mean, and I'm talking about the stop motion animation, um, the editing, sound effects, voice acting, directing voice actors, the sound engineering, adding special effects, figuring out what works best, for stop motion, converting stop motion photos into a video format. Just all these things I had, I studied. I basically was a YouTube learner by learning from other people who've done it in different ways and then applied it to myself. So, yeah, I mean, it just took a lot of time, a lot of effort, and personally, my health for the majority of the time working on this has always been poor because of my illness, Crohn's disease. I've had in these last several years, now, including this last year, I've had 4 surgeries. I would argue 3 of them major. And like personally, my wife has had a couple of surgeries. My son was born. We have moved. Two times, and one of those times being out of state from one state to another. There have been times when I was working to where I had hardly any time to animate. There have been other times where we've been traveling. But on the forefront, my mindset always on the forefront is to do as much as I possibly could do every single day. Nearly every single day at my mind, okay, even if it's just a little bit of time, what can I do? And just keep focused. It seemed like finishing all this seemed like an impossible thing to do. In my mind. No one's told me that, but in my mind, it's just like, it seems overwhelming. And it was overwhelming. But you know what I did? I just focused on the next photo that needed to be taken, the next animation that needed to be taken, the next piece of music that I wanted to listen to see if it would fit. Just the next step, the next step, the next step. And I just looked down at that next step instead of the zillion steps that I had to take ahead of me. Just step, 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 step. That process. So I already kind of knew what the process was going to be, or it was literally kind of laying track as I went along as well. But I knew what step I had to take next, and I would just do that. And so and that's how I continue. Yeah. So that's one way of putting it. Okay. Let me. Anyway, like I said, I cannot talk and work at the same time. Let me see, and I need to look at my time too. Okay, we still have some time.
Oh, but here.
So that's good.
But hearing you.
What have I learned? Well, I tell you another thing that I learned real quick before ending this live stream is, and I don't know if it's learned or just obtained, is the fact that there's a lot of people within the Heroscape community, as well as just other people as well, that I wouldn't have the relationships I have today if it wasn't for making Tales of Valhalla, because there's a lot of people that have helped or continue helping doing the work. The person who voices Chemo Shi, YouTuber named Joe Crazy and MK Plus Ultra and others, I wouldn't have the relationships people have if it wasn't for this show, and those are very valuable things to me. And so I guess that's one thing I could say I kind of learned, is just that you network with people and get to know more people, and that's always a wonderful thing. Collaborate with people, always a wonderful thing to know and do, and it's great when more and more people, I would say, have your back, but just that you get to interact with more people, and it's a wonderful thing to do for me, because I never expected to interact with as much people, because it's literally just me animating miniatures, and then than working on my computer. The only interaction I have with people is when I'm doing voiceovers with them. So it's real interesting that ended that way. But anyway, so this live stream is practically done, so I do have to do an ending for it, and hopefully I said everything I needed to say. But like I said, this is coming on. The editing's going. I'm working as hard as I can. We'll continue working. So hopefully we'll see this episode in the next 3 to 4 weeks, and then ongoing episodes as well. For those of you who are watching this on the Tales of Valhalla YouTube page, this is an edited down version of what is almost going to be a 30-minute live stream. And if you want to see the full version of this live stream, go to our Conductor Productions YouTube page, which should be in the screen in front of you, or a link in the description below. And with that, I will bid you all good Wednesday night, everybody. Stay safe, stay well, and you have a purpose in your life. Find it, pursue it, live it. We'll see you next week. Bye.